Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about spiritual warfare. In this video, I have one topic which I want to discuss. It wasn't guided by God, but it was endorsed by God. I asked if I can speak about this, and God agreed. And I think it's important for everyone. I'm not quite sure how welcomed it is, the topic, but it is the message that I want to convey. And it is about the free will. And I want basically to emphasize that, unfortunately, we are now as we are now approaching the new karmic board meeting. Most karmics, instead of focusing on their redemption and on dialogue with the divine realm, in order to identify for themselves ways in which they can find meaning and passion and faith in their own path, basically they focus on sending more attacks at those who succeeded for different reasons. Most of them want to transfer karma. They want to steal whatever we want, the ones of us who actually fought and ascended. They want to steal ranking, to take advantage of our fight and basically just bandwagon with whatever we want. Essentially, basically, this is a way of pulling us down. But they're thinking from a very egoistic perspective. They don't think in light. Normally in light, any individual who's facing karma should say, I will pay my own karma because I created it. I don't drag anyone down and I don't force anyone to pay my karma. And this is the only way actually that you will find help in divine realm. But they don't do that. This is a pity because they are wasting an opportunity. However, that's their problem. Others of them, they know or they realize that they cannot fool anyone and that they have done too much harm in order to even try to convince someone. So then they are happy even if they block us, just to make sure that we don't go ahead. But the ultimate goal is the same. If they succeed to block us, ideally they want basically to transfer their karma to us, to use excuses and say that whatever they done is not that wrong. God is actually showing to me for years now all the excuses they made throughout different lifetimes in order not to put up the fight. Saying that they didn't understand, they didn't know, they were tricked. It wasn't that bad what they did. They didn't say this, but they said this, but they meant something else. All sorts of stupid lies. This is why it takes 7 years for a karmic cycle to end. This is why the bondage breaking is so sophisticated. This is why God is working individually with everyone to break bondage. Because God knows what those individuals have used as an excuse in previous lifetimes. And in my bondage breaking, many times God has guided me to do things which were not clear to me and were not necessarily in my nature. But he was saying, I know what this individual did in a previous lifetime. This is why you follow my guidance, so you expose them for their true intentions, not for the fake image that they put out there. Now, what I want to say, the message is, nobody can force us. Nobody can force me to accept anyone back. Nobody can force me to accept anyone's apology. And I want to emphasize this because God has shown me that it has been a lot of slander on my name about this issue that I don't accept apologies. I rest very assured that God knows exactly what I mean when I say this, but I will explain it in this video. For others, not so much for the karmics, but maybe for others who will use the same approach as me in the future. Namely, I know for a fact that the apologies are not sincere and that they will use that only to transfer karma to me. I know this. Even if in initial phase they are sincere and they are not ill-intended, very easily they get tricked, or they simply just give up on fighting, because keeping a straight line in fighting spiritual fight, it's not an easy thing to do. So this is why we are where we are right now. And they will easily sign contracts, sell out, and betray again. I rest very assured, because I know, and the entire divine realm knows, how many chances I gave to each and every single individual that crossed my path. How many times I helped individuals who harmed me. How many times they transferred their karma to me, taking advantage of the fact that I was just trying to be positive and helpful and accept what they were pretending to be an honest apology. So I rest very assured that God knows that I do not do this with resentment. I do not do this with hate. I do not do this to harm them. But I do this to protect what I gained, what I earned through my fighting. And by the way, I was fighting to protect myself from them. They were the ones who were harming me. Okay? God had a grand plan for each and every individual when incarnation was granted. And quite the same way as these karmics refused God's opportunities and God's guidance so far, and they chose third-party individuals to betray. They chose karmics. They chose to betray and to sell contracts on us and to send darkness to us. And they signed up in all sorts of secret societies and so on. Quite the same way as God didn't succeed to convince them to change their mind. And he gave them free will to do all of this harm to the entire humankind. Quite the same way, nobody, not even God, will succeed to convince me to give up my right to free will. And namely, in choosing not to accept anyone back, not to accept any kind of apologies, not to give any kind of undeserved forgiveness, not to give any type of forgiveness in any way, shape, or form. I said this many times. I am very determined. I know my worth, and I know the significance of what I earned. What I earned is not only for me. Many ancestors have their fingerprint in my victory, because they contributed to my victory, and because it's the victory of the lineage. It's not just mine. And I know this has a tremendous value in what the Ascension, what shape the Ascension will take in the next phase. And I'm not willing to compromise or to give any kind of chances for this to be tainted, for this to be touched, betrayed, dragged into mud of karmic world, or any of that. So I'm definitely not willing to do any of this. I already declared also in writing, in my prophetic writings, in my own journaling, in my own dialogue with the Akashic record and with the karmic board, and of course with my divine team, that I ran a matriarchat. Nobody has any kind of rights over me. Nobody is entitled to make any kind of claims. I have the endorsement from the karmic board meeting, from the Akashic records, from God and from my entire divine team to go forward alone in celibat, in matriarchat, alone on my spiritual path, and to actually continue to build the legacy, which of course is a lot of work of creation, which I'm looking forward to. So all these karmics must know, and this is a very important lesson, which they will never learn if individuals who actually did succeed in this phase of ascension to gain a victory, do not impose this lesson on them. They all need to learn this lesson, that there are consequences. You cannot patch up everything. There are lines which, if you cross, you cannot meet again. Not in the same lifetime. Simply because it's not only about that individual, but also the lineage stands to lose too much. There's too much, still too much path to go and too much work, spiritual work to do, to even take such a chance that somebody would betray and would again launch another karmic cycle, which will drag down somebody who actually won the spiritual fight, instead of taking advantage of that victory and taking the spiritual work further for the lineage and for himself. I believe each individual should focus on their own path. I really do believe this. I don't believe, again, I said many times, I do not believe that it's beneficial from so many perspectives, which I already explained, to accept, to patch up relations. Also, it's not beneficial for that individual as well, because they need to focus on their own spiritual fighting, and the discrepancy between the two in a pair, one who won and the other one who didn't even start the fighting, is so big that it's impossible for them to actually preserve what was won. So I believe that everybody should actually do the same. Focus on their own. We came here to fight, to do the spiritual fighting, and to create. We didn't come here to have the 3D type of life. In spite of the fact that I see on YouTube community that many spiritualists focus, especially in tarot field, they focus so much on getting married, having children. Oh my God, he's gonna propose. Oh my God, he's gonna come back. He's gonna propose. You have so many examples of marriages, failed marriages, and betrayals and cheating and so on. I don't understand this enthusiasm. Anyhow, that's clearly everyone's decision to make. What I state is that these people must understand, nobody can force us to do anything. Nobody, not even God. Quite the same way as God didn't force them to do anything. God gave them opportunities, but they rejected those opportunities. And if they pretended to accept those opportunities, they only accepted them so they will sell to the devil their partner and their family and the gift of God. So it is not acceptable. I don't want to dwell too much on this because, again, I'm in a different phase and I want to focus on my future and to move on, to relocate from where I am in Cernica, to relocate from here and start my work of creation. I learned so much and I already planned so many fields in which I want to develop projects that I want now to actually start creating. I'm very enthusiastic about this phase. This matches so much more who I am. The spiritual fighting, essentially, as I explained in another video, doesn't really match who I used to be. I had to change a lot in order to get through all of this, because normally I would have just pushed out everyone and everything. But I did put up the fight. I did went through it, and I do not hesitate to do it again. This must be very clear. I do not hesitate to do it again. I'm pretty sure it's going to be spiritual fighting is going to be part of whatever endeavor I'm going to do from now on, until we actually succeed to put an end to this 3D. But this type of attitude from the karmics, in which they want to force, by different type of attacks, continuous attacks, 24 hours a day, organizing themselves in alliances, in groups. They already divide among themselves what they will steal from us if they succeed in making us accepting their offers. I mean, because I am a seer and I have a dialogue with God, I actually see what is behind the scenes of these attacks and what plans they actually have. And it's very saddening, to be honest. These individuals must understand that we do have free will. First of all, at the end of the situational karmic cycle, contracts were broken and nullified by the divine realm itself. I explained in previous videos, God is reorganizing even the idea of a couple, who should be with whom. Because precisely because of this, because two individuals in a couple must be compatible, so they must be in a similar phase of ascension, and God is working on that. But even, let me say this, so there is no legitimacy for claims. That of course doesn't stop them, because since always they have done, they have made claims which were not legitimate. I have many individuals, and one of them is even in my neighborhood, actually I think it's many of them, who claimed me, although we never spoke to each other, we didn't even say hello, ever. I live in this address since 2016. We never even said hello to each other. He never said hello to me. I never said hello to him. We never met. We never crossed paths physically. And he still claimed me. So they are used with doing this. But I must say this, any claims that you make are illegitimate. All of you. Because God is reorganizing, as I said, the ideas of couples, who should be with whom to do what, and so on. That's one thing. Another thing is, even if there would be a contract in spiritual realm foreseeing that two individuals come together, I still have my free will to choose, quite the same way as many of you were supposed to be in a couple and you rejected the other person because you wanted to screw around. You wanted to experiment, satanic cults, group sex, all sorts of imbecile stuff. You didn't have time for God or for spiritual fighting. And nobody could force you. You married karmics. You made karmic children. I don't even begin to understand how imbecile you need to be to imagine that after you married, you rejected the proposal of God, you married a karmic, you brought on this world karmic children, and then you made huge karma for yourself, doing a lot of harm, witchcraft, sorcery, necromancy, and so on others, and you now want to bring this into my life or the life of someone who has won, breaking generational curses and breaking and closing karmic cycles. Now, how crazy should an individual be to accept that? Well, if that individual broke karmic cycles and closed karmic cycles and broke generational bondage, by accepting back would be only to reiterate and extend a new karmic cycle, then fight again against the same things. Nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to do this. I don't know in how many ways I can say this. So I can actually convey, I would say the following. Some of the individuals and karmics who have been attacking me a lot and doing lots of harm to me are souls from my own lineage. This will not change anything. Anyone that believes that because somebody is from the same lineage, that will impose on this other individual to accept him back, that's wrong. No. Precisely because you're from my lineage, get the fuck your ass in line and do the work. Because all the fucking karma you're creating is burdening the entire lineage, you imbecile. Get your ass in line and do the work. Stop trying to pull me down from where I got through my own fighting. Let alone that this was supposed to be your fighting. So I have seen in this fight, which and this phase which concluded recently, the most unbelievable situations in which, for example, some of these individuals made prayers to their ancestors in order to mind program me and force me to accept them back. This is crazy. This is crazy. Any ancestors of anyone else are not allowed to do this, are not allowed to influence my free will. They are in 5D. They follow God. They don't do this. Others, and actually their ancestors came to me and they told me this. They told me this, that this individual requested this, and be assured that we will not follow through. We are actually supporting you because what he's doing is doing harm to everyone. And if you succeed in going forward, you actually break a generational curse which makes him behave this way. This is why he's doing all this harm on everyone, because of this generational curse. So don't accept him back, just go forward, because you're gonna do a lot of good to everyone, including him, regardless how he perceives it right now. You are doing a lot of good. Go forward. There are really unbelievable things that I have seen them doing. Actually, one of them wanted his ancestors to start a war against my ancestors, thinking that if his ancestors defeat my ancestors, then he will have more success in brainwashing me. You people, do you understand this? So it's not enough that these jerks do not put up the fight in 3D to break the bondages and spiritual fighting and do the spiritual fighting. Now they want to start war in 5D. Do you understand it? How twisted this is. I mean, I was in shock when I heard this. And I was like, how can they think this way? So it's not enough the destruction you created here in 3D, where you actually came to break bondage and do spiritual fighting. Now you want to start war and do witchcraft and all that in 5D. So you want basically to transfer the 3D to the 5D. It's not a surprise to me. This is why 3D exists, in order to steal and replace, dominate the 5D. What surprises, so it's not a surprise that. What is a surprise to me though is that this individual thought he's going to find allies in 5D, his ancestors from 5D, to fight them, to fight my ancestors. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Another one conjured specific deities because he learned I was at the time carrying on a specific embodiment from a specific region of the world. And I'm not even going to enter into that. Then he conjured a deity from that region in order to put spells on me and to force me to basically misdirect me, to give me wrong guidance in order to accept him at the time. Do you understand how crazy this is? And that deity is actually part of my lineage. So he came and he told me to claim justice and judgment and punishment against this individual because he did this. So I'm just giving you just a few examples because I do not know to what extent everyone that actually did put up a fight and did end a karmic cycle has enough information of what these karmics have done behind closed doors. So you can actually make an informed decision. So you can actually understand the depth of your decision and what ramifications and consequences it has. I'm not advocating, I am advocating from my point of view, but I'm not trying to force anyone into something they don't want to do. However, since I learned all of this, I cannot sit and watch them trying to fool others and say nothing. I cannot sit here and say nothing while they keep attacking me continuously, and they keep making alliances with others, with different religions, with Scientology, with different public institutions. They keep trying to find accusations against me in order to basically diminish the weight of whatever I have to say. Or even they think that they can trauma bond me if they would build against me a case to imprison me. So many other things. I cannot sit and watch this and basically be quiet. I have to share my point of view, and my point of view comes from the knowledge which I have been blessed with from God, from Jesus, from my entire divine team, and from the entire divine realm. And of course, I want everybody to benefit of this information. This is why I'm making the videos, so everybody will have access to the information which I put out. Because I would love it if everyone will make fair decisions for themselves and for everyone around them. And fair decisions obviously means to follow your purpose and your path with God towards 5D, to go back home, basically. I don't know. Obviously, many people have different opinions, and I don't necessarily want to enter into debate. I essentially don't even want to know exactly what decision made. I'm very much focused on myself now and on my dogs and on my new location where I'm gonna but actually God says where I'm moving right now. So yeah, thank you. But what I mean to say is that, first of all, this is a message also for the karmics to understand that nobody can force me to do anything against my will. And this is something non-negotiable. This is something on which I will not make compromise, not even with God. There are many circumstances throughout my life, not during the spiritual fighting, when even if I wanted to do something, God would succeed to persuade me to do something else. But I must tell you that on this matter, God is on my side. God doesn't want me to be with someone because He knows who's coming my way. And God knows exactly where I am in my journey now. And I explained very clearly to God, I put up a fight which was supposed to be carried on by others to protect me. And I put up the fight for everyone that you have sent into this. I want now to focus on creation, because that is something which resonates much more with who I am normally, and on healing. I really want to do my way of healing. I want to gain my privacy. And I will say this, for example, even making these videos and the prophetic writings, for me personally, I'm a very private person. I don't like to talk about my private life, especially not publicly. And very, very, very seldom I share things from my private life, particularly from my spiritual life. And if I share some things, very seldom it happens that I share things which are very dear to me, which are very important to me, and so on. I did make a compromise on this with God, and I did write prophetic writings and spiritual fighting, sharing a lot from my life, which normally, not everything, but a lot, much more than I would have wanted. But I did it with a purpose, okay? So I need now to focus on my own type of healing, okay? Which is entirely different. It implies privacy. So I would appreciate all the imbeciles who have attacking me and continue to attack me even to this day now, in this very moment, 24 hours a day. I would appreciate much more if they would have the decency to just take a distance, go focus on themselves, leave me alone. Regardless if they will actually do this or not, nobody will change my mind. I do not accept anyone back. I do not want nobody. I'm not even talking only about love relations or anything. Nobody. Everybody just stay away from me. Stay away from me. And I will do my work with God. And with Jesus and with my divine team, I will start creating, and I will focus on developing my projects, on which I already started actually to create, the business concept and so on. But nobody will force me. Nobody can force me to change my mind. Nothing and nobody. And God knows and knows why I feel this way, because God knows exactly what I've been through. And God knows exactly what impact it had on me, on soul level, on mental level, on every level. And He knows that I need this privacy, which was completely stolen from me, and which was very, very dear and important in my life. And some imbeciles decided to just take their boots, go military boots, go into the deepest mud, and then just come with all that mud into my private life, and invaded brutally and in the most atrocious way. So I need now my privacy. I recommend this to everyone, especially as we are starting a new phase. Privacy also involves creation with the divine realm and developing your purpose, but you should make the best choice for yourself. That is important, particularly if you have children. You should make the best choice, considering implications. And I have made many videos in which I explained what type of implications could generate from receiving someone back into your life, as they are not ready, they are not prepared, they haven't done their work, they didn't even prove to themselves how determined they are to walk the straight line, and so on. This is a matter of discipline, and it is a matter of perseverance and work, And it also involves a lot of frustration as you are giving up a lot of things that you would like to do. Anyhow, I'm not going to enter into this. This is a long enough video for what I had to say. The message is nobody can change, and particularly the divine realm never aims to infringe, God says, to infringe on somebody's free will choice. At no point in time the divine realm will do this. People will have free will choices, quite the same way as you had the free will choices to do harm and God couldn't stop you no matter how much he tried. Quite the same way we have the right now to stay away from you, and God cannot make us do differently, and God will understand and will make a different path for us. And I'm pretty sure God will make a different path for each and every individual. But unfortunately, they don't seek God. They only seek to destroy us. So I just want to emphasize one more thing. My victory in this phase of ascension is very much also the work of the divine realm, of God, of Jesus. They stayed next to me, minute by minute, second by second, teaching me patiently, and trying very hard to create opportunities for me so I can, as I was only one and so many were against me, they tried so hard to create opportunities for me, and they suffered seeing me suffering. And they suffered when they asked one of these individuals to help me, and they refused, and they just saw that as an opportunity to sell more contracts on me, to make more money, to steal my money, to steal my house, to steal my inheritance, to steal even my work with God, and so much more that they have done, to slander my name, to mock the prophetic writings and the videos that I made with God. So by by doing this, you brought a lot of insult to God himself. You must understand this. And you will see the consequences of it, because this is the work, this is also God's work. It's not just my work. So by mocking something that I'm putting out there, although you yourself are stealing that and pretending that it's your work, it's also mocking God, because he is the one who actually stays next to me and tells me what to say, when to say, and so on. Yeah, I'm going to stop here now. The message is nobody from divine realm intends to infringe on anyone's free will choice in pertaining the next phase of ascension, pertaining personal relations or any other type of relations. And in my case particularly, I emphasize and reiterate what I said before. I do not accept anyone back. I do not accept any apologies from anyone. I do not accept and don't give any kind of forgiveness. I do not do any of this. These are the tools they always used to trick, to steal, to recreate karmic cycles, to transfer karma and so on. So I don't do any of this. And I have the blessing from the divine realm not to do any of this with anyone on the face of the planet. Okay? So I just want this to be clear to those imbeciles who keep attacking me, doing sex magic, doing love bombing, doing aggression at me, and so many other ways in which they do witchcraft and so many other ways of attacking. It will not lead you anywhere. It will only add to your karma. Nobody on the face of the planet will ever convince me to accept any of you and to accept any kind of apologies from any of you. Divine judgment and punishment on you. Period. Divine judgment and punishment on everyone. Period.